You trying to do what?
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Corner to Corner Wrestling Radio right here on Spreaker.com. Of course, available on download for iTunes and Google Play and any of your favorite podcast and download providers. Internet radio for wrestling at its finest. The triple threat is complete. My tag team partner is Rob Hefner.
It is a great night to be here.
Indeed it is, sir. And, of course, Brian Taylor.
What's going on? And Rob, you're echoing.
Echo.
Waha.
So are you.
Echo.
I'm not buying that.
See if I can adjust the audio settings here, see if that'll help out a little bit. All right. Well, of course, I'm Stan Grubb, and we are indeed the triple threat of wrestling radio. Been a little bit since we were on air. Glad to be back. Where does one start? Hey, how about this one? This one just broke this morning. Ring of Honor and NWA in agreement that they will allow the Ring of Honor World Championship and the NWA World Championship to be defended September 1st at All In, as apparently the agreement hinges on Nick Aldis, of course formerly known as Magnus, has stated he'll defend the NWA World title against Cody Rhodes at All In if Cody Rhodes becomes Ring of Honor World Champion between now and the All In pay-per-view. Now, it's already a great moment in independent wrestling history that's about to take place in September. Does this raise the stakes is really the question.
Well, I think it's an interesting twist to this, considering Cody has to become champ again. But again, if you can't read the writing on the wall, you shouldn't be watching this.
I think, Dalton Castle apparently is injured. So it makes sense that if he's going to be taking time for recovery, that this would be the opportunity. Plus, it makes that matchup even bigger, which why wouldn't they, right? I mean, even if it's only a short term and Cody were to somehow become the NWA World Champ, which would be even cooler, I think. It just opens the door for a lot of awesome opportunities and potential dream matches, and finally we start seeing the NWA treated the way it should be, with getting some worldwide, not just national attention.
Well, is Rob still here? Or is he taking a hiatus? Give me the hard questions, are you?
Robert.
What?
Oh, there he is.
Well, thank you for gracing us with your presence. What do you think, Rob, with the NWA potentially going head-to-head with Ring of Honor at the All In pay-per-view?
I think it's just best for business, as they say. Cody Rhodes is the hottest indie wrestler around right now. Why would you not want to hitch your wagon to his star and take NWA to the next level? Because unfortunately, not to be mean, but Magnus is only going to get you so far. Cody, with the way he's at right now, the character he's developed, he'll get you to that next level with the NWA.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think that while Nick Aldis is a great representative for wrestling in general and a great world champion, I think Cody has a certain appeal to him that brings him and brings whatever company he's representing more into the limelight. Honestly, I think if he's able to win the title and become both Ring of Honor and NWA World Champion, this is just all the better for both companies. Wow.
I was exposed.
Well, okay. But yeah,
Are we all unpacked?
I think a lot of what we're seeing right now with the hype on the All In pay-per-view, it just keeps getting bigger. This title opportunity for Cody is something that, realistically speaking, is a great jump-off point for both companies.
Well, you look at it. Do you see is the NWA champ jumping continents right now?
Yes. They were just in China. I think it was China.
But that's just my argument. Is if I was NWA commissioner, owner, I'd be chomping at the bit to get my belt on someone like that. But that's just me.
I think
I'm not saying anything about the guy's potential. I'm just saying,
yeah,
in a market today,
I have to agree. I mean, I think it's a wiser decision to go with the hotter commodity. Both guys are great as far as in ring, but I think Cody is the hotter talent.
Oh, that would depend on if you had Cody signed to a contract, though.
True.
I mean, would they be willing to, have the NWA title be co-branded, I guess you'd say, with the ROH title?
That's the thing. Could it be that that's what they're working towards?
Don't know.
I mean, if you're trying to rebuild a brand, and that's what the NWA did years ago anyway. The NWA would go into places, and the NWA champ was here, and that's what you would have again. And even a match with Cody would then help put your brand up a notch, because you're getting the exposure of All In, you're getting all the hype and da 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 da. So, it would bring, it'd bring some media attention to you that you might not otherwise get.
Mm-hmm. Well, plus now with this event, I mean, as it continues to get bigger, we know that it's already a sellout. I mean, all of the tickets were sold in under 30 minutes. So all they have to do is deliver. Now that they've sold out the show, all they have to do is deliver on the good event.
I don't think that'll be hard.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think it'll be hard to deliver. I mean, at its core, that show's just going to be about matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one or two stories, but it's just going to be matchups. And when it's that type, with that caliber stars, you can just basically, well, who do I think is going to have the better matchup? And tell them to go tear the roof off the place.
Because you don't have to build for day 2,
Yeah, I mean, right now there's not going past All In. It's not like it's a TV show.
Right. Well, and that's the thing with everything that they've put in for this show. I mean, just
put in All In, huh?
Hey, what can I say? I'm just trying to make sure I'm all in on the gag. I think with what we're seeing, it's interesting because when has an event outside of Ring of Honor, WWE, or even TNA or Impact, when has an event like this captivated so many people in such a quick amount of time? And I can't remember one.
I think you'd have to go back to the 80s and 90s for some of those super shows. I mean, because basically that's what you can call this, is a super show.
Yeah.
Reminiscent of the AWA and who was the AWA?
World Class,
and I think there was a third one too that joined in.
UWF.
Some of those super shows.
I mean, the interesting next steps is really what's really gonna tell the tale here for us. So we know who so far is All In. We've been able to confirm bits and pieces of it. We even now know that there's a possibility of CM Punk not just doing the signing, which he's already confirmed for, but apparently there's a possibility of Punk making an appearance during the event. Now, everyone seems to be talking about, does Punk make his return to wrestling in this regard? In other words, does he get in the ring? Much as I'd like to see it, I don't know that we're ever going to see that again.
who knows until that day.
Yeah.
But apparently he's involved. He was supposedly even at the press conference.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there has to be some type of something in motion for him, I would imagine.
I mean, it's in his hometown. It would be foolish to not. I mean, have him do something just to come out there, wave to the crowd, and thank him for coming. Got to do something to make sure that you've got it prepared.
Well, I think there's nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Like the Young Bucks, Cody, the All In, the Elite. They're all doing the same thing that he wanted to do.
Right.
And he was trying to do in the WWE. To show that the legitimacy of the business. And this whole thing is what he was talking about. The little man being held down. Now look, the little man is having his own show and sold all the show, and sold all the tickets. So that's.
Who is squeaking?
I hear it. I just don't know where it's coming from. I hear the squeak. Rob, are you squeaking, sir?
I am polishing my belt.
Well, that must be it then.
I'm not eating.
That's pretty cool. So, Rob, you're polishing your championship belt. You're getting ready to come out of retirement.
Yep.
Wow, that's dangerous.
I got mad skills, dog.
Hey, here's something I just read about. This is interesting. So, Leo Rush is now apparently a rap star. Leo
Really?
Rush. Yeah. Leo Rush from MCW fame and working in NXT currently is now releasing music under the name L.I. Just released his debut single called Money Money.
Is it any good?
Let's see. There is a music video for it. Now, if only I could plug this in so you could hear this Money single. Yeah, see what I did there? Money, money.
Ha ha.
Yeah. Okay, fine. It wasn't that good. I tried. Point being, looks like Leo Rush is apparently coming out finally out from under the punishment thumb that he was under after his unfortunate tweet that he put out there about Emma. Apparently Emma was not ready for Asuka, and that was what the tweet was. So because Emma was released shortly after Asuka made her main roster debut, and when Leo put his post out there, it was ill-timed and ended up getting him in the doghouse. So finally he's getting some positive exposure, now talking about his music. Had an interview with ESPN talking about the tweet itself, and then, of course, getting into the music business, and also about working under Triple H and Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels. Sounds like maybe they're ready to get behind him. That could be a good possibility for 205, I think.
Oh, there's no doubt he helps improve the product.
Absolutely.
It's crazy that little tweet, supposedly got him in this much hot water.
I mean, it took about a year, I guess, right? Because Asuka made her main roster debut shortly after WrestleMania last year, right?
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, but I mean, I understand. I mean, you have to make sure that all of your talent is on the same page, but it's not one of those situations where, I mean, it's not like he made fun of her all that bad. I mean, honestly, all he really did was put a tweet out there that said somebody wasn't ready for Asuka, and that's kind of Asuka's catchphrase. So I didn't see the harm in it, but I guess it was just poor timing.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe somebody went and said something.
I guess Rusev hadn't met a tweet that week, so they didn't know what to look for.
Bury me softly, brother. Bury me softly. Even that tweet was funny. I mean, it could have been a whole lot worse.
Well, I mean, the tweet went along with the match. The match didn't make sense. Like, normally your casket match is built up to, like, there's a reason for it. Not, hey, the Undertaker's here. Let's have a casket match.
Well, it's interesting y'all brought up Rusev with the rumor that the whole Rusev Day is about to become a thing of the past.
Yeah, the saddest part about that is that he got over in such a massive way with such a simplistic gimmick. But yeah, it sure does to see it. It really appears that the whole Rusev Day is it's just been ignored. He got over on his own volition. He and Aiden English, and now it's just getting buried again. It's really disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
I think Aiden English got that over.
You're probably right. I mean, it's one of those situations where anytime a guy gets over on his own and doesn't have anyone helping him, tends to get him in hot water, which seems kind of sad, but that just seems to be the way the industry is right now as far as the WWE. Seems like a bad idea to do something like that, especially if it's going to make you money.
Well, the problem is they don't have anything for Lana. And Lana doesn't fit in it. Sorry.
Isn't she in the Money in the Bank or something coming up, or on this past SmackDown or something?
She had a qualifying match.
Yeah.
And she won in like 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of crazy.
It just comes down to WWE thinking that we're, I won't say dumb, but that they're smarter than us. Oh, yeah, this guy's over, and we're just going to end it. We're just going to squash it. Right. Yet the other guy is so not over that, in their opinion, it's the greatest thing ever. It makes no sense. So, and I'm not mentioning his name. This is a RR free night. So,
an RR free night.
Yeah. Yep.
Matt, sit down. Go find.
So, but again, that's just. I mean, the T-shirts are selling. He's over. I don't think it. I don't mind so much if you turn him into a heel again. I don't mind that. I just don't think it's the right time to do it.
Right.
I think a lot of the work that's done in that regard. I mean, when you finally get him in that position, why wouldn't you capitalize?
Again, they're smarter than we are, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's all about when you can make money. I thought, but apparently that's not the deal.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too. Why wouldn't you get them into, say, a world tag team match or something, and then do it when there's something on the line? Because I'm sure it's going to happen just on a SmackDown. Nothing crazy to it. He's just going to turn on a SmackDown. When, to me, you do it when there's something on the line. That's something meaningful. So, especially that they're the hottest tag team out there on SmackDown right now.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. I mean, you've got so many tag teams now that are going from place to place, with the club moving over, with the bar moving over. Then you've got, I don't know if you guys have followed it at all, but the B team. Have you seen this? Axel and Bo Dallas and how popular they've gotten in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
They're drawing their own shirts on the way to the ring. I mean, that's amazing. It's such, it's funny, but here you've got two of the more talented, and in Curtis Axel's case, I wouldn't necessarily say the younger guys, but these are guys that are getting over just by drawing on their own T-shirts, which is amazing.
Yeah, well, again, you put them in the right situation, and these guys are allowed to, be themselves more than the cookie cutter, plan, what creative had for them. And look, it's another person you never thought would, become popular becomes popular.
Yeah.
Granted, they were with the Miz, but thanks to the Miz, they get exposure, and Now, probably like New Day, they're like, hey, we want to do this. We want to try this. And somebody's like, it'll never work, but go ahead. And sure enough, it works.
Yeah, that's one of those situations I never really understood. I mean, to me, it just makes better sense to have it on a. Honestly, it just makes it better sense to have it on those that are popular, whether they're popular in the regards of they're booed the way they're supposed to be, in a sense so they actually have real heat, or that the fact that they're cheered because what they're doing is finally making the fans react in a positive way, not something that's engineered that way. It just happens.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we have finally become those fans.
No. Mm-mm.
You don't think so?
No. Because, again, this could go on for 6 months. They'll be at the height of their, a run, and creative will be like, they don't know what they're cheering. We're gonna make them the C team, and we're gonna give Heath Slater, and we're gonna make them dance, and all this other stuff, and then so much for the B team. That's the way they are.
Boy, Heath Slater's just, I guess you could call him the odd man out, because now the guy that's got kids isn't quite as important as the B team. Wow. Oh, well, that kind of sucks.
Yeah. But again, that's how they are. The people with talent who can actually, give you a good push for your product, and they normally get buried. For people that have very, are not or shouldn't be where they are, I guess.
Yeah. And that's always kind of crazy. I mean, when you see these guys that have worked to get to a certain period or part in their career, and then they finally achieved what you would think would be a major moment, now it's not so much, because it just seems like their legs get cut out from under them.
Mm-hmm. I look at Bray Wyatt.
Oh, very true. Good example.
I mean, nobody can sit here and say he wasn't over.
No, he was. Not only was
I mean,
he
even
over,
the announcers would say it.
Yeah. I mean, they were always marveling at just that fact that he was so over that it was just one of those unforeseen things that took place.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how JBL used to react to the Fireflies when they'd come out?
Mm-hmm.
And even now with him and Matt Hardy, the reaction that he gets when his music cuts in on Matt Hardy's is still huge.
Mm-hmm. But again, he's a prime example of he gets over and creative can't figure it out. And so what do? Well, the fans aren't as smart as we are. You got to bury the guy. You got to put him down the rung.
So we're headed towards Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank is actually, I believe it's this coming weekend, next week. We've got June 17th, so we got another week after that. So we got Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles now confirmed to be in a last man standing match. We have in the men's Money in the Bank matchup, there is Finn Balor, Rusev, The Miz, Braun Strowman, Bobby Roode, and Kevin Owens, and one of the members of New Day confirmed for the men's Money in the Bank. For the ladies, we've got Lana, Natalya, Alexa, Charlotte, Ember Moon, Becky Lynch, Naomi, and we've got one more entry for both the men and women that will most likely be confirmed this week. And of course, we've got Nia Jax defending the women's championship, or the ladies' championship. Do they call it the women's or the ladies for Raw? I don't remember. Either way, the title is being defended against Ronda Rousey. We talked about this a little bit earlier this afternoon. Ronda Rousey getting the title shot so soon, and seemingly the air coming out of the balloon for Ronda before she's really even had her first singles matchup. Too much too soon, you think?
Rob, you want to take this, or?
Well, I mean, am I on? Okay.
Yeah, you're on. It's you, buddy. You're live,
You're
pal.
here.
I don't
No.
think they're going to put the belt on her. I think they've seen it. I think it's just them a way to kind of another way to them gauge where she's at. If they put it on her, I mean, does she have the pedigree outside of wrestling? Yes. She does not have the pedigree inside of wrestling. And has that stopped him before? No. But I think, with this, there's going to be some reason she's not going to lose. Nia Jax won't win cleanly. I think she's still not done with Alexa Bliss. So I think somehow Alexa Bliss costs her the match. Or Natalya turns. Something is going to happen to where, this happens. And who knows? Maybe they give Natalya the Money in the Bank briefcase earlier in the night, and she cashes it in the middle of it, just like Seth Rollins did, and bam. Natalya beats Nia. Therefore, setting up Natalya versus Ronda Rousey down the road.
I actually heard a report that they were expecting Natalya to throw the towel in on Ronda Rousey.
Oh, an old Bob Backlund thing.
Yeah, we haven't seen something like that in forever. That could be an interesting finish, but doesn't that just hurt Ronda Rousey? Am I off on that? What do you think, Brian?
All right, so I've said it before, and then I kind of backtracked after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But now I have to go with my original assessment. It's too fast. She's not ready. According to rumors or reports, whatever, she may not be ready. But they're going to do with her exactly what they've done in the past. Oh, she gets the pop of the crowd, and they can very easily put it on her. And just like Brock Lesnar, she won't have to go but so many times a year, and it won't look that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be shocked if that's what they did. I fully expect her to walk away with that title, especially now that they're like, well, there's reports where they're saying she's not ready. I look for them to ignore it. Nope, she's the best thing since sliced bread. Let's put the title on her. I mean, because even to me, Nia at the press conference and since then has been kind of a heel. I mean, she immediately goes from, oh, I'm doing this for all the people who ever get picked on, to her turning into the bully next.
Yeah, that's what I didn't get. If you guys caught any of the press conference, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we had the contract signing, not the press conference, but the contract signing where Stephanie is basically egging both of them on, which, oh, by the way, I can do without Stephanie being on TV. That gets boring every time. But anyway, so you have these moments that you've got an opportunity to really have a guy or a gal like Ronda shine. And she doesn't. Not only does she not really shine, she doesn't really say anything that made any sense. And then Nia becomes like this angry monster that is going to put down the overrated Ronda Rousey. I mean, that's what she would have us believe. When did we see that? I'm so confused. When did Nia become the bad guy?
Within a week, and
Yeah.
Nothing provokes it. Nothing. And again, this is what leads me to believe that leading up to it, Nia's going to get even worse. Oh, forget forget all this talk about the bullies, and Nia's the biggest bully in the joint.
Yeah.
And then
she doesn't belong here, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
But you're going to take the steam right out of anything Nia's built up, and you're going to try and force it right on Ronda, and it's just not going to work.
And the thing is, with Ronda Rousey, she had a great performance at WrestleMania. She surprised and impressed us all. And then she has yet to step in the ring, to truly step in for a singles matchup, period. Like, she hasn't had a match on Raw yet. Not even a glimpse of a match, just a couple of scuffles.
All right, well, overseas, she was supposed to have a singles match with Mickie James. a series of them.
Oh, wow.
And then for whatever reason, she was thrown into that 6-man match with her, Natty, and Ember Moon. And again, the report is they did that because she wasn't ready, which explains why she ain't really been on Raw.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times she's an afterthought. You don't hear her name mentioned.
Yeah, I've never understood, and this isn't the first time this has happened, just the first time in recent memory, as far as just the air coming out of the balloon so quickly. Because she really did surprise us all as far as how she did at WrestleMania, which was great. I mean, never have I been more happy to be wrong about a debut, but then she comes out on the next night on Monday Night Raw, and you kind of figure that they're going to go ahead and start the ball rolling, and they just don't. And then the next week, they got an opportunity, and they don't. They just, all of these shots you have to make this woman even more larger than life, and you just don't do it. You just figure you've got, oh, we got to build this, we got to build that. And, you know, certainly I'm not saying that I know everything that could or should be done under the watchful eye of the folks up north. But the truth of the matter is, when you have this big of a star, why would you just leave her on the sidelines? Especially if she needs more work. Why wouldn't you go ahead and send her down to NXT and let her be a spotlight there? I mean, gosh, you've got so much opportunity here that even if, to me, honestly, if she had gone from beating Stephanie at WrestleMania and come out on Monday Night Raw and said, you know what, I'm going to work my way up, I'm going to start at the bottom and get to the top, and then she goes to NXT, I think that would have been perfect. Nothing wrong with that, and plus she gets time to hone her craft. I think that would have been great.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, they wouldn't even need to tell you. They could have just, she goes to WrestleMania, the event happens the way it happens, and then she just goes to NXT.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, you don't necessarily have to set it up. She just goes.
Right. Because nobody ever said beforehand, you know, if she wins, she stays on Raw, or she goes to SmackDown. Nobody said that.
Right.
You know, you just knew she had a match. And then if she shows up on NXT, well, that's the place for her. And that's where she should have gone.
Well, I mean, she's definitely going to need some help now, because if she comes out there and doesn't perform, and granted, Nia Jax isn't going to require her to do very much, you're still going to need to be able to move around in that ring. And with Nia Jax, you need to be able to move more than you normally would, say, against a person like Alexa or Mickie James. You don't have to carry a match against Alexa or Mickie. But with Nia, you do. I mean, I'm not trying to put Nia Jax down, but Nia Jax is who she is. She wrestles the way she does. There's only so much she's going to be able to do to make Ronda look good. I mean, imagine the first time she goes for that armbar, very similar to how Asuka goes for it, and she botches it, and Nia just lands on her instead of doing the somersault to go in for the armbar. It's very, very feasible that matchup ends a completely different way, and we don't have to even worry about Ronda anymore because she just got literally squashed. I mean, there's so much that can go wrong. I would be more concerned about that than anything else, because you've got so much money now that you've put in the hands of Ronda Rousey. If she gets hurt, well, now you've paid and you're just lost whoever your hot prospect is. So,
well, I think that's why they're putting her in with Nia Jax first.
Yeah.
Because it's single with Nia Jax. And like you said, there's only so much you can do with Nia Jax. If you put her in there with someone like Natalya, if you put her in there somewhere like Charlotte Flair, if you put her in there with anyone other than Nia Jax, I mean, the only other person you could do is maybe Lana. You know, there's certain skill set that you don't have to worry about. You know, there's going to be a lot of the ground fighting and that kind of the grappling. So maybe that's what they want to look at. So we'll see.
I mean, wouldn't you guys agree that if Ronda just loses to Nia Jax, I mean, what's the point? Wouldn't that be the end of the Ronda Rousey experiment?
No, because they could just chalk it up to, you know what, she's new.
Yeah.
You know, she's new. She hadn't been here a while. But I mean, the thing is, like someone like her with her name, you couldn't take her to NXT.
Sure, you could.
I
Baszler. You
don't think
took
you could
Baszler.
have.
Yeah, I think,
She's a bigger name than Baszler, though.
well, as far as star power, yes. But here's the thing. Bobby Roode was Raw ready when he got in the door. So was EC3. So was Ricochet. All of these guys that they've had to go through NXT were ready for main roster. And Ronda Rousey, as far as star power, is more than ready. But in the ring, no, she definitely needs Matt Bloom. She needs someone there coaching her through. I mean, my understanding...
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you? If I'm Ronda Rousey, I'd be like, yes, send me to NXT because you need to have someone to learn from. I've heard that she was training with Natalya, and for her sake, I really do hope that, again, that we're wrong. But, you got to be able to show it. Now you're getting a title match, and, hey, maybe this is a case where they've all got us fooled. I kind of doubt it because, fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you. But the truth of the matter is, she didn't even really sell it at the press conference. She's out there at the NBC upfronts, and they do it so that Nia challenges her. Why, I don't know. Makes no sense to me. But, she does it, and then Ronda's like, oh, well, I'm not really ready, but, gee, thanks, okay. Like, you're not excited? Like, you don't have... This isn't UFC. This isn't you wait till the face-to-face to get some hype in there. This is WWE. You have to put hype in it every time. Every single time.
And to me, the other thing about her and the UFC is let's not forget the way it ended.
That's true.
And there are a lot of people that's how they know Ronda. They don't know Ronda, at the beginning when she was just destroying people.
Yeah.
They remember Ronda when she herself got destroyed. And then, that whole fiasco.
Yeah.
So she could have easily and should have they should have just put her down at NXT. There's a great group of women down there she could have learned from. But instead, we're gonna try and work our magic, and again, this experiment is failing quick, and if it fails too much, there's no way you can recover from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a situation where you've got an opportunity, at least you had one. I don't know if you can recover at this point, but you had an opportunity to really capitalize, and now you're just not. You've just decided to go the direction of, I'm smarter than the fans once again, and I just... sooner or later, and you won't find a bigger WWE fan than me. I always have been. But sooner or later, you're going to run out of luck. And someone is going to catch you sleeping, and you're not going to be able to recover from that. You figure, I mean, let's be really realistic about history. 2001, we saw WWF at the time buy WCW, okay? And we were surprised to an extent, but WCW ends. But in 1998, it was a very different story, and WWF was so close to actually being closed. It's hard to fathom now, but it's like they forget how close they were, and now they take it for granted again, which is just a mistake. It's huge, and Ronda is just another example of that. The signing is great. I thought that the signing was an awesome opportunity, but there's only so many opportunities you get in that type of situation where you can make a mistake. And it's not necessarily to Ronda Rousey's detriment. I think she's doing what anyone would do in that position, and that's basically take the money and run. But you've got to make sure you do it right. Otherwise, you're actually hurting that person's brand. And I'm sure her agent or whomever represents her, maybe her attorney, tells her that she needs to be more, aware of what exposure she takes and doesn't take. So this experiment may not last very long, because if she feels that it's not going well, she'll probably pull the plug before they do.
I don't think so. No, especially if you're flirting with the title. Oh, that just makes her, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that just elevates her.
Yeah.
Oh, she's doing great. A few pats on the back. But to make your point though about, I think the WWE's lazy. They've been lazy for years.
Yeah.
That's why you have a lot of stuff that goes on. Now to bring up the NWA again, what happened, or what happens if the plan is ROH goes under the umbrella,
Mm-hmm.
Impact goes under the umbrella. There are all types of smaller independent promotions with great talent. They go back under the umbrella, and by the end of the year, the NWA is a national federation again, or not federation, but it's national with the little subsidiaries.
Yeah, a national product where it's more worldwide and accessible. Yeah. And
you're in trouble.
Than Billy Corgan? I mean,
right. You're
guy's
in trouble.
Yeah, and he's a proven commodity. I mean, he took promotions in Chicago and made them bigger than they were, and then he went to Impact and helped them improve. The only reason, you have to remember this, the only reason that Impact didn't keep him and perhaps grow for the better at that time was because of the good old boy network that was happening with Dixie Carter and her friends. That's the only reason that happened that way. So it's always these small, like, people tend to forget just how quickly it could have been different. And that's, and we have this debate all the time when it comes to, kind of being a WWE shill and stuff like that. Because usually I'm that guy. Usually I'm the one that's like, oh no, they're going to be just fine. And it's kind of hard for me to fathom an industry without them in business. But at the same time, these mistakes that continuously get made, and they're not little mistakes anymore. They're not like, boy, they really dropped the ball when they didn't re-sign CM Punk. It's, it's the double R's of the world. It's the trying to respect what you want to Brian.
Yeah. I got you.
It's the B team that inevitably is going to have the legs cut out from them because it's just what they do.
Right.
And now it's with what they're doing with Ronda that's like, gosh, you can't keep doing these same mistakes. If you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. And it only really takes one good TV deal for NWA to really put heat and fire underneath the rest of the industry to see a pretty predominant change.
Yeah, but think about it. If they, were to all come together under one umbrella, you got multiple TV deals. And the only thing you're slapping on the product is the National Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah.
And I would imagine you would then be on par with, say, USA, and that's exactly what you need.
Now, in the same breath, when we talk about WWE making poor decisions, and they definitely are, and Rob, I'm sure you'll have a thought on this as well. What we're seeing right now could be something that could put them in real trouble, but it's not to say it's because of the money, because if you've been following the news lately, so Fox has made a deal with WWE for SmackDown Live. $250 million a year for 5 years. $1 billion. Now, this contract starts in 2019. So, if we were to start a clock, everybody thinks about during the 80s, you had like that doomsday clock, the nuclear war, World War III. So now we've got a countdown clock for WWE. You got between now and the start of the contract in 2019 for this really big money deal to come into place. And Brian, I know you had some details that came with this as well. Can WWE beat the clock?
They're not going to go away. I'm not saying they're going to go away.
Yeah.
But I'm saying they can get their tails kicked just like they have in the past.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not careful. And it could very easily be something they just don't recover from, and they become the number 2. And that's where they sit.
I think that this will give the WWE even more of a chance to differentiate the products. It's hard to make SmackDown Live, to me anyway, when they're on the same network. It's basically the same show.
Mm-hmm.
One's blue, one's red. That's the biggest difference. But now if it's on Fox, you can get away with a little bit different things on Fox that you can't with the NBC Universal family. Fox has been known to be a little bit more edgier,
mm-hmm.
Than NBC Universal. So it could give the WWE a platform if they're smart, which, they've been shown not to be, but whatever, that they could do this product and have something different and kind of, produce it in a different way and light it in a different way, do different arenas, just it could open the door, maybe a fresh new pair of eyes, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but the problem is, let's say the executives in the WWE say, well, we want to move AJ Styles, and Fox says, no, we're paying you this money. We want AJ Styles.
Right.
And then what happens?
That's the thing. Like, you've signed this contract, and hey, congrats to him. That's a big deal, big money deal. But if you've basically signed your soul away because you need this money, and I mean, after the Greatest Royal Rumble, I don't know if they need this money, but this is a kind of situation where you're gonna kind of put yourself in a spot, and it's not an easy spot to get out of, because $250 million a year says if they don't want you moving AJ Styles, guess what? You ain't moving AJ Styles.
Right.
So,
yeah, or in the same breath, we got this draft coming up, and we're going to move this person here. And Fox, the execs are smart enough to say, no, I don't care what you say. He doesn't draw money.
Yeah.
You're not putting them on, you're not putting them on there. And it has to be in the contract somewhere that they have some type of say. Fox is not dumb enough to just be like, oh, yeah, okay, here's $300 million. Do with it what you want.
And remember, for the longest time, Rupert Murdoch wanted nothing to do with Vince McMahon. If anything, he wanted to put Vince out of business. So here we are now, and WWE is about to go under the Fox, umbrella, so to speak. That's a totally different feel. This is a totally different world now, and now WWE and Vince and Triple H are now looking at it going, we could kind of use that kind of money. We could do whatever we want after that, but for 5 years, you belong to them.
Right. And if you don't believe me, I'm sure if you ask NFL executives, they would probably tell you, yeah, Fox does meddle. Fox tells us what to do, and we listen because Fox is paying us a boatload.
Now, Brian, you had mentioned that with these TV deals that this was having to do with drawing as far as putting butts in seats.
Yeah, I read part of the contract. Supposedly, a lot of their salaries depend on like how much they draw. So to me, it almost has that old school feel in it. Mm-hmm. Where they have to draw big to, for some of these guys to get paid. So I don't know how you divvy it up, but that's what I read as part of the deal is they have to draw to get paid.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to make sure you've got something in the works that puts you in control and makes you kind of master your own destiny, because if you don't have the right people at the helm and they don't draw, well, that contract's basically worthless. It's just a worthless piece of paper. So, man, especially in today's wrestling world, that's got to be a tough call.
Kind of sounds like the old video games, Like you sign a sponsor deal, but you have to do this or you don't get any money. Yeah. So it's kind of like here's the potential of $250 million a year. But realistically, you could only make $100 million. It's just because they're going to make certain guaranteed off ad revenue alone.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then all the subsidiaries, you got Fox Sports 1 and all those, Fox Sports Net, whatever. So, that'd be interesting. Be like that house show we went to that John Cena wasn't there, and they said we will refund you up to 1/2 match price.
Yeah, I remember that. They said you've got a limited amount of time. Like, you had 30 minutes. You had 30 minutes to get your refund, and that was it. If you didn't pick it up in 30 minutes, they weren't giving any more refunds. Which, I mean, I guess is smart up to a certain point, but I don't remember anybody really going and getting refunds.
Oh, it's the WWE. Why would you?
I mean, that's true. You got so many people on the card, you wouldn't necessarily think they only paid for Cena. But
Right.
I guess it's possible.
Oh, well, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there probably were some that, Cena's coming, we have to go. But,
Yeah.
the majority of the audience is there for the WWE.
So, in reading, some of the news and some of the reports, I've also been listening to Justin Roberts' book. Now, Justin Roberts, of course, for those that don't know, and if you don't, I'm kind of confused, but if you don't know, Justin Roberts was a former announcer for WWE for a good number of years. And listening to his narrative, his book, talking about his experience in WWE, it really does appear that, especially after the more of the most recent weeks, especially with like Ronda Rousey getting her title shot and everything, it kind of appears that maybe Justin Roberts was right about WWE just not caring and just doing what they want to do just so they can pop the boys and make Vince laugh.
Well, I mean, apparently they're all about money right now, and I mean they're just making ridiculous deals. I mean, think about it. In the last month, he's made deals with $400 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of bank.
And then don't forget the Greatest Royal Rumble, where I believe that deal was $500, wasn't it?
Was it 500?
Some crazy amount of money. It was like $400 or $500 million just to do that one show. Which,
All right, so he's gaining on $700 or $800 million.
Right. And then
it's like
crazy.
a 10-year deal.
Yeah, and that's. Here's a question, and I know we don't do politics, so I'll tread lightly. Does this put WWE in kind of an awkward position, especially with where we as a country stand on foreign policy? Or are they more just taking advantage of a money situation?
Well,
I know. It's a tough
This
question.
is why you don't bring up politics.
Well, and hey, I'm certainly not the resident expert on any of that, but you see what I mean? It's kind of a curious situation. I wonder how that unfolds. Like, with everything that was happening before the Greatest Royal Rumble actually took place, my biggest question was, well, what happens in the event of an attack? And did our government get involved and like give them a briefing and talk to them about, hey, this is what could happen or might happen, or this is what we'll do to help out? Or because Vince has always had a pretty good relationship with, well, outside of his steroid trial, with the federal government.
All right, do me a favor.
Sure.
Do me a favor. Take a time out.
Okay, time out.
Breathe deep.
Good cleansing breath. Thanks, Brian. That was a good idea.
Yep. Do it again.
Like Gold Dust style this time?
Yep. No, just breathe deep.
Okay.
Forget what you were just talking about.
Okay.
And pick a new subject. You are getting crazy up in here.
You know what? You're right. I needed a Snickers. I'm sorry.
Listen, if you don't think $500 million motivated him to go over there, you're nuts. It doesn't have nothing to do with politics. $500 million.
You also got to realize he left half the roster at home.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you left NXT, so even if something did happen, he still had a company.
and it's not like in today's society you can't just go to the shopping mall and something like that happen.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. And that's why I knew it was such a... Yeah, it's kind of a tough question because there's so many different things that can happen. But the thing that I kind of wondered was, man, I mean, yeah, it's $500 million. You're not going to turn it down. It's just, I wonder how that puts him in the... I guess I didn't see any kind of public reaction. I guess that's what it was. I didn't see any kind of reaction from outside of just wrestling fans. So I was just kind of curious as to what y'all thought. But no, I get it.
Because how many other companies take money from other countries?
A lot.
WWE's no different. WWE's no different than General Motors or any other car companies that make their cars over there and then ship them over here.
So you think?
And
Go ahead.
Isn't Saudi Arabia? I guess you'd call them an ally.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at this point, yeah. I think you would.
So it's not like they went to say Iran.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
Very, very good point.
I did run.
You ran so far away. Haha. Screw you guys. That was funny.
No, none of this is funny, and you need to. We're going to get you a script, right?
Oh no! Step away from the politics.
Yeah, step away from the politics.
Lord, I apologize.
I mean, this reminds me some of the conversations, before the election, where
Oh, geez, no, we're not going backwards. Not going back in time. Come on.
That's why I put the law down.
No more politics on the
And you broke it. So
I'm sorry.
Now we're officially politicless.
Politicless? Is that a word?
Yep. It's like Michael Chiklis, politicless.
Michael Chiklis.
Politicless.
Politicless up in this. And for those of you that are curious, that's my son digging in a toy box right now. Matt, hey. Thank you.
Hey, you can't yell at them like that. The little millennials that listen are going to be so outraged.
I know, right? Now I've gotten rid of politics. Now I'm treating my son poorly. God, you'd think I was a red-blooded American.
Yep, your poor Twitter is going to explode.
Hashtag let Matt play with the toys.
Matt's playing matters. All right, get out of my face. I'm trying to do a show here. Get out of there. Jeez, this is what happens when you're a parent and try to talk about wrestling. Get out. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to hear is violence, and I don't condone it normally. I'm going to break your pinky is what I'm going to do.
Oh, dear Lord. Now there's recorded evidence if something happens to them kids.
Good job. And it sounds like the mic might be muted. Did he mute the mic? Did he do the right thing and mute the mic?
Just taken a moment so I could vent my frustration. Matthew Connor, son, if you do not stop.
Is that his full name? Matthew Connor's son?
Might as well.
Oh, Daniel's son.
All right.
Yeah, see, now I got the oldest Padawan doing it.
He can only yell at the oldest one so much because she hits harder.
She does hit harder. You're not lying. It hurts. It hurts, man.
1, 2, 3.
Stop. On behalf
Did
of
I not count that down?
Stan's opinions and parenting skills does not reflect the parenting skills of Brian and Rob.
And politics.
And politics.
We didn't.
I don't know.
You're not going to live that down, by the way.
Have you seen the shows that are on Spreaker.com? I don't know if my politics are too far off from theirs. Moving on. Sorry. I apologize. I've overstepped again. Brian was right. I needed a Snickers. I'm sorry.
I didn't say Snickers. I never once said that.
That's what you meant.
Nope.
Back on the track.
Snickers are for winners. You're no winner.
You having me mute the microphone so I can yell at the kids. I can't keep doing this. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria up in here. Quit it.
It's bedlam.
He's looking for a ring. I got a wrestling
Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, when did we have to stoop to these conditions?
I don't know.
What happened?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Are you suggesting by chance that we've had a harsh fall from grace?
Not us.
Just
you.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I appreciate your tone right now.
Is that why Eddie won't play with us anymore?
You know what? So Eddie messaged me Thursday. And for those of you listening, we will be back on the Beyond Ringside Network next weekend. But Eddie did message me, son, stop it.
Maybe Matt will find a toy back.
Is that what he messaged you?
Christmas.
Son, stop it?
Yeah, it's pretty much. He's like, stop it. I'll get back to you when I have a chance. So he's had a lot of DJing gigs. Our producer, Mr. Fast Eddie Lane, stays pretty busy throughout the summer. And this has just been part of his busy season since he's had a lot of weddings and he's been DJing. But he will be back with us next week, and we will be back on BeyondRingside.com at that time.
Yay!
And yes, at least my son will find the toy he's looking for.
At least we'll have some structure then.
I didn't realize the toy box was that big.
It's Legos. It sounds like Legos of cars.
He's looking through. What are you looking for, son? You might as well just come on. You want a headset, buddy? Come on, let's talk about what we're looking for in the toy box.
All right.
Okay, he's looking for a toy. He's told us. He's looking for a toy.
What's he doing up at 10:30 anyway?
That's none of your business, sir, and I'll thank you to stay out of my affairs.
You made it our affairs when you brought him on the radio.
Yeah.
I didn't have a choice.
Dummy.
I'm not a dummy. You're a dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You let Drake up in here.
Mock. Oh, sorry.
Sigh. Lego Batman sigh. So,
yes.
while we're dealing with the noise of the toys,
we're not dealing with any noise.
Yeah, it's not that bad for us.
You're the one losing your marbles. Maybe they're in the toy box.
You know what? I don't think I have any marbles left because my son is driving me nuts.
Arr, is he a pirate?
No.
Arr.
All right. We are currently losing anybody that may or may not have been listening.
We lost our one listener.
-2, -3. Yep, and now they want money to pay us to never come back. Okay, well, that sucks.
Hey, that works. I'll take the money and run. Bye.
Hey. You're getting paid?
Oops. Never mind.
Brian, are you getting paid?
Brian's always getting paid from somewhere. Don't you know that by now?
All right, fair enough, I guess. Clearly you guys get paid and I just don't. That's fair.
So how was it, though? How was it, Stan? To, do the whole Casey Carlisle interview?
That actually was really a good interview. Talking to Casey Carlisle, the first thing that stood out when I talked to her was just how, not that I thought she was dumb, but just how well-spoken she was and how much she had to say on just about everything. You get a lot of times where you talk to somebody in the industry, and as far as interviews are concerned, they get used to just a certain line of questions, and that's kind of it. But no, she was very, very personable. I think that perhaps her relationship with the fans could be a little bit better, but as she put it, they're just a little bit jealous of her, and they are perhaps just wishing they were more like her.
I can see that. Most fans don't deserve her. You know what I'm saying?
Most times I don't agree with you, but on this, you might be right.
Mm-hmm.
The UCW Ladies Champion was just recently on UCW Radio about a couple hours ago, and when I talked to her, we talked about how it felt to come back to UCW after the match of the year last year, and what it was like to step in the ring with Avery Rose. We talked about her thoughts on maybe possibly getting to an upcoming rematch, and also looking into possibly. I did ask her, and she kind of scolded me, but I asked her what she thought about maybe joining the ranks with KR Superstar or Humphrey J. She actually told me that she would never show her cards to a fan, which I guess that meant me.
Yep, that meant you.
Yeah, that meant you.
Wow. Thanks, guys.
I mean, what? Haven't you not learned anything? You just don't ask that question.
Well, they wouldn't tell me, so I figured I'd go right to the source.
Mm-mm. They don't even want to talk to you, let alone give you breaking news. You know what I'm saying?
Beg to differ, sir. They beg and plead. Please let us talk to you, Stan. Please.
No. If they wanted to break news, they would contact me. I would break the news, and then you would just be like, "Oh man, they don't like me," and I would be like, "Yep, they don't like you."
I happen to think I'm well liked. Thank you very much.
Not by them too, or their families, or their industries.
Wow. Or their industries? That's
Wow.
I mean, BSI. It's an industry, right? It's a big time company. Yeah, you couldn't get into the door. I'm told, not that I've seen it, that there are pictures of y'all at the secretary's desk with the "Do not allow in." Okay.
That explains a lot, because every time I've gone there to potentially get an interview, like they look down, and then they look at me, they look down again, and they say, "I'm sorry, sir, they're not in."
Yep, and then they put you outside, the magnetic locks hit, you can't get back in, and you proceed to lick the glass.
Now, that is nothing I would ever do. I would never put my tongue to unclean anything, sir.
Yeah.
Why are my kids looking at me weird? That is not funny. I would not do that.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
No liquor.
Maybe we just need to settle up, and you can do UCW radio for a certain caliber of talent.
Oh, but the A talent comes corner to corner.
The other side, somebody else can handle.
Oh, wow. Okay. This wouldn't be because that, well, first off, talking to Casey Carlisle, I think you guys are actually maybe jumping the gun just a tad. I mean, I got lucky. I landed an interview. Usually you guys get to chime in and make sure that KR and Humphrey J are happy with you, and O'Brien, you got your pockets getting lined by them. So, I mean, just because I don't do that doesn't mean I can't have a good interview going on.
Well, it could have been good in your mind, but again, if she's scolding you, berating you, and chastising you, is it really a good interview?
Wow. I never, now you're using words and throwing stuff around that I didn't say. I didn't say chastising. I said,
Is it? No.
I don't.
So you can do like we'll let you do. God, let's see. Man, I don't want to scare anybody. The next person you bring on.
Now you're gonna get me in trouble.
Maybe you can handle a tremor interview.
Oh, great! So I get to talk to the guy that doesn't talk. That's fabulous. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. That's real good.
Looking out for you, kid.
Yep, looking out for you.
Jeez. Now you've got Rob doing it. See, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Hey,
I don't say much, but
hey, Stan.
Yes, sir.
All I know is there may have been an envelope passed tonight.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Was it a BSI envelope or was it a Humphrey J envelope?
I've never said one way or the other. I'm just saying there could have been an envelope passed.
You are ridiculous. You should be ashamed of yourselves. I mean, I think that there's a special place in the world for people like you. Just saying.
It's at the top.
Oh, yeah. The top. Okay, sure.
Ah!
It's at the top of something.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's on the top. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
All right.
See, you're about to
The
cross
tippy top.
line. The
Yeah,
tippy top. All right, so here's something here. Jerry Lawler recently commented on people that criticize the WWE. Says, everybody does not complain about the current product. It's not the vast majority either. It's a small amount of people, a very select few, that probably have nothing better to do than live their life on social media, and that is really sad. But those are the people that complain. If you've got nothing better to do in your life than spend time sitting down and typing something out on your phone and getting on social media to complain about a wrestling show, man, you really do need to get a life. To all those naysayers there, you've got to eat your words because whatever they're doing is definitely working, and you can't knock success, so there you go. Wow.
Mm.
Maybe Jerry Lawler should worry more about not getting arrested for smacking around women and less about what we say on a show. Just saying.
I don't think he's worried about us.
Well, apparently
He
not.
probably doesn't even know.
You know what? I bet you a guy like Jerry Lawler gets sent this sort of stuff all the time.
Yeah, but you never talked about Jerry Lawler before.
I've never had a reason to, but a commentary like that, where he's like about people making fun and talking negative about WWE. Listen, buddy.
I think what he's saying is opinions are like a-holes, and everybody's got one.
And everybody
you know what I'm saying?
Stinks.
Right, and everybody's got one. So, it's kind of like, you people should, you wrestling fans should just watch the product, and you naysayers should just shut up. And aren't you doing the same thing? Honestly, aren't you doing what you're telling people not to do?
Wait a minute, Brian. Now, you and I have had this talk. You're expecting logic. Got to be careful. We're working within an industry where logic does not appear. Just thought I'd put that out there. It's just one of those deals that I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, it sounds like
it's crazy.
You're being a negative Nancy to negative Nancy.
A Debbie Downer.
A Debbie Downer. Oh,
I'm doing it.
You tricked me on that one, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Excellent.
Wasn't that your name in college?
He didn't go to college.
I mean, it was a good semester.
Oh, that was it.
It was a great semester. I had fun that one time. Remember that one time when I went to college?
Yeah, when you were a Debbie Downer?
You know what?
Kids present. Who should be in bed, by the way.
They are. Two out of the 4 are asleep. The other 2, one is with headphones and the other one's playing a game. Oh, Big Cass apparently needs surgery again. Oh, sucker.
Ow. No, stop.
That sucks. I was going to go in, but you're right. That sucks. I mean, he just got back from ACL, and apparently it is ACL again.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. That's a bad break. I mean, he was stuck with Enzo in the middle of that controversy. Then he finally gets ready to break loose, hurts his knee. And, he had what many people would call a standout feud with Daniel Bryan, which I would agree. I think that's a good way to get him up as far as profile. And he hurts his knee again. That sucks. What do you guys think about this current run with Daniel Bryan?
I think they don't know what to do with him.
Brian?
I think Rob's onto something. I mean, how could you not try and recapture what was going on prior to him, retiring? Why would you not even go back to that? Try and go back to that. I mean, who in their right mind would have been like Daniel Bryan, Big Cass, Wow, feud of the year. Book it.
Right. This is match of the year caliber right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Now again, no offense to either one, but they don't match up well together. Their styles are drastically different. Their bodies are drastically different.
And there's no history.
Yeah.
It's like Cass comes back and it's like, he didn't even use all the, this is my time. I'm back after my injury. This is supposed to be my time, but now you had to steal that, just like you steal everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to steal your comeback from you by beating your tail at hashtag not my Royal Rumble or whatever.
Hashtag not my Royal Rumble. Well, I mean, you since you mentioned that, how about that? They end up putting Daniel Bryan in. He comes in at number 1 or number 2, and he lasts through. He lasted almost. Did I read it right? An hour and a half.
I mean, at what point, you build you build his whole return that, oh my God, Daniel Bryan's going to be in the Royal Rumble, and then you have Dingleberry throw him out at number 15 or whatever, and then you get the biggest Royal Rumble again. Daniel Bryan starts with number 1, and you take him all the way to number 49.995, and throw him out.
Well, Hornswoggle did show up, so the decimals can work there.
It's just. I mean, if you're gonna have him stay in for that long and make a big deal about it, then there should be a payoff.
So, and then go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is there's two sides to that. So you've taken the air out of the Daniel Bryan return there, at least for the moment. But also with Braun Strowman, you have him win, and now Braun's in tag team matches. Like, come on. Are they falling out of love with Braun Strowman?
Again, you can't do anything with people when you only got one damn belt for them to fight for. You can only develop stories with one path. When you have no big path for the big guys.
Again, I think they think they're smarter than us, and that's exactly what you see. Again, the guy that's been over the entire year, well into, most of last year. Mm-hmm. The guy nobody saw coming, nobody would have hitched their horses to, and he's huge, right?
Right.
And because of that, they're like, well, we didn't do it, and we're not. They're not smarter than us, so let's fix them. Let's tank this guy down and see what happens.
Because we can.
Yeah, because we can.
Well, I mean, and then further adding fuel to that fire, Authors of Pain, Insanity haven't been on TV because, and this is the report, creative doesn't have anything for them. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
How do you not have anything for
them? Wow.
I mean, I would say put the authors with the revival, but apparently the revival's going back to NXT, been seen on NXT.
Yeah. So is Ty Dillinger.
Yeah. So it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Almost makes you want to turn on Spike or whatever channel that is. I mean, because then at least you get to see Tessa Blanchard and Sue Young, and I don't know if I'd. Who else is on there? Eddie Edwards.
Doink.
Yeah.
No, Doink is not there.
Virgil.
Rob, I mean, you're our correspondent with Impact. I haven't heard of the Impact report yet.
King Tut.
He's not even a wrestler.
Al Capone's vault.
Let's go to Rob Hefner with the official Impact report.
Sorry, we're waiting for the Wi-Fi.
That's not how the Wi-Fi works.
You've got mail.
What? Is that what Impact's running on? That makes a lot more sense. What about the Lucha Report? Anything new there?
That hasn't come out yet, has it?
Well, I don't know. You're our correspondent.
I haven't seen the new season 7 yet.
Brian, are they even on season 7? I thought it was season 4.
Not season 7.
No, it would
like
be season 4. Yeah, it would be season 4.
Rob, you were so fired.
Yes, I was getting
like
ready.
You pay me anyway.
Something tells me we need a new correspondent somewhere. I don't know where, but we need.
Somewhere out there, Brian. Someone is watching Impact. I don't know who either, but there's pictures. There's people that are going to this show.
It's also a wide variety when you just say Impact. So,
I'm not following.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm not sure what you mean there, buddy.
Yeah.
Are you insinuating possibly that there's more than one Impact?
yes.
What?
Who's the other Impact?
Are we in the middle of like an alternate universe now?
Apparently,
What
so.
is, and what is not, is not.
Brian, what the hell?
I'm not buying it. I don't know.
I am so confused right now.
I think he watches Impact. He knows he watches Impact. He just doesn't want the rest of the world to know he watches Impact.
That kind of sounds like most Impact fans. No, it's there. It's there. No, it is, but we don't watch. No. Do we even know what network it's on anymore?
Kangaroo.
Because it was on Pop.
Yeah.
It's on Noggin.
It's on Noggin. Is that a network still? And then it went to it's on Comet, isn't it?
Might be.
It's on WGVT from Peoria, Illinois.
Oh, they come on after Wayne and Garth. I got it.
Yeah.
No way.
Hey guys, wait after the show and there's wrestling or whatever.
That's right after their next replay of Living Single.
Okay.
Wow. I'd pull up their website, but I'm not sure I can find it. Let me see here. I'm trying here, Impact fans. I'm trying to bring you your news. Since clearly our correspondent doesn't want to.
Well, if you go to Impact's website, it takes you to We Buy Gold.
Oh, look, gold bars for sale. Oh, wait, no, that's ImpactWrestling.com. Come on, there's got to be more to it. Oh, there's a picture of Moose. Yay, best of Impact on Instagram. Impact is on Instagram?
Whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah, you said
You're
it.
boring me.
Yeah.
You guys are boring me right now.
The Impact news has killed the show. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Y'all just aren't funny.
What?
Not funny.
I'll have you know that I am very funny, sir. Why are my kids looking at me weird? I am very funny.
Looking.
I mean, you can't even make the people in the room who laugh at Bart jokes laugh right now. You know what I'm saying? That's how unfunny you are.
They laugh at more than fart jokes.
Oh, yeah? I bet you they just smirked when you said Bart. But anything else you've said tonight, they haven't laughed at all.
That's not true, and I'll have you just... never say that again. We're not laughing at
fart.
that.
I can say fart and they'll laugh. You, they don't think you're funny.
They can't hear you. They're ignoring you right now. They said, you're making fun of our dad. We're not listening to you, buddy.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp.
Don't be racy. Don't be racy. Guys are so mean to me. Wow. So Demolition recently was asked about being in the WWE Hall of Fame. They were recently a guest on Sean Moody's podcast. This is pretty interesting. So Axe and Smash were both on there. Axe stated it would be a nice footnote, but Barry and I have said it a number of times. Barry, of course, being Barry Darso. We have no control over it. If we get in, great. If we don't get in, we're not going to lose sleep over it. That's where we stand. Barry then said that they would at least want $100,000 to go into the Hall of Fame. Hey guys, those in Demolition, you may actually get your wish because with all of these big money deals going on, okay, sure, we'll write you a check. That would be honestly, it would be very good to see Demolition get into the Hall. I think if there's a tag team out there that really surprises me they're not in, and we all kind of know some of the rumored reasons that they're not just yet, but it would be good for them to finally get in.
I will have to. Man, this is hard to say. I would have to agree with you on that, Stan. God, that is just so hard for me to do. You know what I'm saying?
No. Why would it be hard to agree with me?
Yeah, that's just hard.
Why are my kids laughing at this? It's not hard to agree with me.
You see, I make them laugh. You, on the other hand, apparently put them to sleep.
Hey, I got a 50% average on that. That's not bad, okay?
But, as far as like, all right, so just their WWE career, to me, that might be a little iffy. But when you include their entire careers, I think they should both be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I mean, hey, the Blacktop Bully in WCW, that was high-quality stuff.
Yeah, but let's go back to his title reigns in the NWA as
what was
one third of the Russians.
Thank you very much. Do you
and
remember
then
his name?
It was Crusher Khrushchev. Yeah.
Thank you. I couldn't remember.
And then trying to think if there was one before that. Because there may have been one before that because he was not, if I remember right now, again, this is what, 30 years, 40, 30 years ago. I don't think he was like truly Russian. I think he was like, wasn't he like an American that got converted or something?
That was what I thought the storyline was, wasn't it, Rob?
He was the cousin. He was their cousin, Crusher Khrushchev. Who was brought in to fight with Nikita because Ivan wasn't.
No, that was another guy.
Yeah, I thought, or was that Corporal Kirchner? Wasn't
Corporal
one of them
Kirchner was an American. That was like the whole. That was WWE's Sergeant Slaughter when Sergeant Slaughter wasn't there.
Oh.
And then Crusher Khrushchev was the Russian, because it was Ivan, Crusher Khrushchev, and then Nikita came.
Yeah.
No, but there's another one that after Darso goes up north, and Nikita is a good guy.
There was this big old.
There's
a
monster
that they had.
Yeah.
Because then he went up north to become the Repo Man.
Repo Man.
Or he was Demolition first, right?
Yeah, he was Demolition before the Repo Man, yeah.
Yeah, he went from Crusher to Smash.
All right, so initially, the Russians...
Crusher, Smash, Repo.
Yep.
Blacktop.
Initially, it was Don Kernodle, Ivan Koloff, and Nikita. So Kernodle was fired and replaced with Crusher Khrushchev.
So Don Kernodle was like Mr. USA.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So he was the convert. Yep. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the AWA did with Jerry Blackwell, where Jerry Blackwell was like the country boy fighting for the United States, and then General Adnan, his little army beat him, and he had to join him. And he had to start wearing the head thing and everything.
So, I got a chance to start watching on WWE's network. I got to watch some of the old WCW Saturday Night broadcasts. And I
Wait. Hold on. All right, so he was, according to this, in '83 in Georgia Championship Wrestling. He would later move on to Mid-South as Crusher Darso, a turncoat American who was now a Soviet sympathizer.
And partnered with Nikolai Volkov, yeah.
Yeah, he was with Nikolai Volkov. And then he went to Crusher Khrushchev. Eventually, he wound up in Crockett Promotions. And teamed with Ivan and Nikita.
He made his debut in Hawaii. You know what his name in Hawaii was? Sar Mongo. What a cool name. That actually
Mongo is just great for anything. You know what I'm saying?
Well, except for WCW. Sorry.
I liked Mongo McMichael.
What? You did not.
The little dog?
You liked Mongo and the Four Horsemen?
Yes.
You are lying.
No.
You are
Lightning
so
is going to strike you dead, sir.
Oh, God.
It's better than, what's his name?
Paul
You
Roma,
better say your final
Roma.
All right, kid.
Everything's better than Roma.
No.
Actually, Mr. Roma, because I know he listens every now and again. I'm just kidding. Thank you for your time.
There are very few
Mongo has
incarnations
no
of the
cred
Horseman.
to be in there. Nope.
The very few incarnations of the Horseman that I did not agree with, and Romo is one. The rest I could live with.
Oh, come on,
Mongo. Who else was in there with Mongo? Who else was in there with Mongo?
Was the thanks for coming. Here's your trophy.
it was the participation.
But who else was in there with Mongo?
Chris Benoit.
Mongo,
Thank
Benoit, Malenko.
Thank you.
With Arnage, their manager.
Thank you.
So you got four. You got four quality.
I guess three out of four ain't bad, huh?
3 quality with a quality manager with.
Mongo did exactly what he was supposed to do for him.
What's that, divorce?
Nothing.
No.
Take up space.
The bigger guy and try and block interference. And I mean, he didn't have to be champion. He didn't have to be a great wrestler. He just had to do his job. Again, with Bischoff booking and all this other crap, he was the best one for it. What'd you want, Kevin Green? Remember that one? You want Kevin Green in there?
I got to tell you, man,
I guess if David Arquette would have been there, he'd have gotten it.
Oh, now all right. I'm about to. So originally, what I was saying is, I was watching WCW Saturday Night episodes on the WWE Network, and I guess it had been so long since I had seen Larry Zbyszko in the ring that watching him during the tag team where he was part of the Enforcers, man, I guess I just forgot how good of a tag team wrestler he was. I mean, I always knew he was great as a singles performer. I really liked him. But as a tag team wrestler, he was even better.
AWA champ.
So was that 605, that studio? Or was that the Disney studio or whatever?
This is 92, so this is back when they were still doing... It was before they got to Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
So they were wrestling at the Omni most times.
Yeah, and that little studio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where they were putting together, honestly, some of the best wrestling. I thought early 90s WCW was tremendous. I mean, you had Dustin Rhodes and Rick Rude. They were having Iron Man matches. Ricky Steamboat, Steve Austin, Zbyszko.
You need to go further back.
Well,
you need to just go further back.
I always thought that time of WCW was
Look at did you just say that?
A lot better than WWF? Yeah.
Haven't we argued that point for years, and you're finally
90s?
now on board?
Early 90s? Yeah, I've always said that.
Apparently, I argued it so much you went blank.
I think I've. Wait, Brian, are you there? Did we lose him?
Liar, pants on fire.
Says the guy who liked Mongo and the Horsemen.
What?
You used
What
to
don't you
complain
like
to
about
no
Mongo?
end about Mongo.
No, I didn't. I never complained about Mongo.
You are. There's lightning. See near your home right now.
And you're talking to the two guys that still refuse to admit the Gold Dust Sable routine. And oh no, I knew it. I knew it was.
No.
No, you didn't.
I admitted a long
Your
time
tongues
ago. I admitted
were on
a
the
long
ground.
time ago that you were the only person that knew, and we were like, nope, we didn't know. No, I never knew.
The Horsemen were my jam.
Yeah, but
since
Mongo,
day one.
You were never a Mongo fan.
Why? Because
you tell me. You're the one that complained about him.
No. What did I say? Because I never complained about him. I've never once said Mongo was a terrible horseman. Never. I have said Paul Roma was a bad horseman.
He was like
never once Mongo.
That incarnation of the Horseman though wasn't even really a true incarnation because there were only 3 of them. Arn wasn't even wrestling at that time.
Correct. Mongo was the 4th. He was, and they were together for what, a year and a half, 2 years, maybe somewhere in there.
So it was Arn, Flair, Mongo, and
Pillman.
No. You're right. No.
You're right.
It was Arn, Flair, Mongo, and Benoit when Mongo first joined.
No, Malenko.
No, Malenko didn't get in until because it was after Arn got hurt. Because it was Arn, Flair, Mongo, and Benoit. And then for a while, it wasn't even that. For a while, it was Pillman, Mongo, Flair, and Arn. Then Pillman quits, he leaves, and then Benoit comes on.
And Shivani got in there.
Shivani? Really? No, Rob's just dogs and cats living together. I don't know what to say. I'm befuddled and puzzled here.
I'm not. I still think it sucks. But hey, we're all entitled to our opinions.
But it's the Horseman.
Yeah, but it was Mongo.
Right.
I mean, granted, it's better than Tank Abbott being in the Horseman. Tank would have sucked.
So did Mongo.
I think the last incarnation of the Horseman that was good was the one with Sid in it. Because you had Sid, Flair, Arn, and Barry.
You're killing me.
I'm not a Sid fan, but I thought that was the last good grouping.
You are killing me.
I wouldn't rank it above the one with Benoit and Malenko, but I'd say it was pretty good. You didn't think that incarnation was good?
Did the Sting one come after that?
Sting came before that one. Sid was in after. So it was Sting, and then he gets booted out, hurts his knee, beats Flair. Then Flair reforms the Horseman. Sid takes him on at Halloween Havoc. And remember, they had that Barry Windham thing where Barry had the Sting makeup on and a Sting haircut. And they faked it.
God, there was so much crap around Sting.
Yeah. Oh, he got patsied so many times. But they did that whole thing where they made it look like Sid won the belt. And then, of course, they rubbed the makeup off Barry Windham and, no, my God, that's Barry Windham. That's not Sting. And then Sting beat Sid. Yeah. Yep. Dusty booking at its finest. Actually, I have to take that back. Dusty may not have been there at that point. That would have been Havoc 1990. No, October of 90, he was in WWF. I take it back. I apologize. I was wrong.
You're what?
Oh, you forgot about Jarrett being in the Horseman with Mongo, too.
Yeah, because Jarrett was like the prospect or something, right? He was like a temporary horseman or honorary horseman.
Yeah, and then they feuded over Deborah.
Yeah.
In more ways than one.
Oops. Awkward. Why is it Jarrett's at the center of so many love triangles?
Mm.
Not only did he have the best drop kick in the business, he also had. No, I'm not
No,
doing that. My kids say PG-13.
it's like your kids are in the room, you muck.
Oh man, doing the strut to my baby tonight. Anyway,
Again, your kid. Never mind.
before we sign off for the evening, a couple of good table for threes. The table for three, which actually was okay. Okay, Brian. We know the Horsemen were great. Mongo, not so much. Table for three: Brian James, Jeff Jarrett, and Elias. Really good one. And then also the table for three that was dubbed the table for four that just aired recently this week, where it was Edge and Christian and the Hardys. Two really good ones you should definitely check out.
What's the new female one they got?
That's Alexa. Is it Lita? Was it Alexa, Lita, and Trish?
No, they're like Kelly or something.
Oh, yeah. Where they're talking about the Ladies Rumble. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't seen that one yet. And as I understand it, there should be a new photo shoot coming out, but I don't remember who the guest was. Guess we'll have to check that out.
I don't know.
All right. Well, we will be back, of course, next week.
Maybe.
On BeyondRingside.com. Why do you say maybe? Don't put doubt in the minds of our
Just
fans.
maybe. If you don't tighten up.
Oh, is that right? What, do I need to convert to being a Mongo fan?
No, I mean, crap, you're, Shawn Michaels fan.
Hey,
there's no counting for taste here.
Greatest of all time versus the worst horseman ever.
Whoa.
Shawn Michaels is not the greatest of all time.
What?
No.
What?
No.
Wait a minute. The greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots. Seriously.
It's not Shawn Michaels.
No.
What?
No.
All right, who's the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots?
Not Shawn Michaels.
You are
and
out
not
of your
Mongo.
gourd. You've been smoking pot. You've been hitting the reefer.
No. You got to think of all the people that have
set the parameters for me. Because if you just say greatest of all time, no.
Okay.
No way, shape, or form.
So, all right. So let's just put it in, as Eddie would say, let's put everything in proper perspective.
So let's
of the modern age.
Of the modern age, I would still say no.
Our time. Wow, really?
I would still say no.
I don't want to steal your thunder. Who do you say is the guy that's better?
In the modern age?
Yes.
Austin.
Okay. Oh. That's interesting because in his early career, he was probably one of the best wrestlers that was out there. Like, wrestlers.
Right. Yeah. Pure wrestler. Yeah, not pure, but,
yeah,
wrestlers.
Definitely. Yeah, I could see room for that argument. What do you got, Rob? What do you think?
The Rock.
Yeah, that would have been number 2 for me.
Really?
In the modern era, mic work, ring work. You got to look at it. I mean,
wow.
I
wasn't expecting that from either one of you. Dang.
All right. So here, I'll make my point for Austin. It's simply this, okay? With the simple phrase that he uttered at King of the Ring, all right?
Uh-huh.
By himself, he propelled what occurred next. He pushed that. All right? Now, Michaels, I'm not taking nothing away from him. All right? Don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying he should not be included in this argument or discussion. I'm not saying he shouldn't be ranked in the top 5 in the modern era. You have to understand that, right? But if you were to take their careers and just look at them, okay, Michaels needed help along the way for pieces to fall away.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Austin, when he finally was said, okay, you're in King of the Ring, you won the match, go do an interview. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
According to him, nobody told him to say that.
No.
Austin said.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, what happens the very next night? Boom.
Pretty much the start of
Austin
everything.
316 signs pop up.
That's
And then he sells $1 million T-shirts in a month. And then there goes wrestling in the next golden age. Michaels had a hand in it, but his part was not as big as Austin's.
Damn.
Now, Rob?
Ow.
I mean, I just take it with, when he changed from Rocky Maivia to The Rock, he took his character to a different stratosphere. When he started the mic work, I mean, you saw it at the later part of the Nation of Domination. And then when he moved on to singles competition, I mean, hands down. I mean, look at the people. I'm like Brian said, I'm not saying Shawn Michaels isn't in the top 5. I mean, he would be solid top 5 for me. It's just best to ever lace a pair of boots. I mean, if you're going to say that phrase, to ever lace a pair of boots, you're saying that Shawn Michaels is better than Ric Flair, is better than
Hulk Hogan,
Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, Terry Funk, like you're saying, that's just what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to say the phrase, lace up a pair of boots, you got to say, hey, he's, in my opinion, the greatest in the modern era.
And I mean, we even forgot
Randy
the
Savage.
Undertaker.
I mean, the Undertaker, modern era. Come on, what man has had the same gimmick and with a slight tweak with the biker Undertaker? He's been the same dude.
Mm-hmm.
And with the exception of, 2 WrestleManias, he has performed at the same level for all that time. Consistent on the mic, consistent in the ring, except for, 2 WrestleMania matches.
Man.
And then, I mean, we're not counting titles because he doesn't even come close to some of these guys nowadays. He doesn't come close to Triple H, Randy Orton. So, pure entertainer, again, top 5.
Wait, whoa. You did not... What?
Hey, listen, you can't count
Randy
titles.
Randy Orton.
Again, you can't... Randy Orton's got way more world titles than Shawn Michaels does.
Jeez, flip. You got to
Doesn't
be
he?
shot.
Randy Orton's got, 12, 14?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all make me ill. My stomach is hurting. I'm about
we
to
didn't
vomit.
do it.
You did
do it.
No, you just... What you just
we
did...
didn't say Randy Orton best of all time to lace up a pair of boots.
Blasphemy.
You said Shawn Michaels.
You guys
And
are
we're
smoking.
just saying, hold the phone. We'll give you top 5. I would even give you top 3 or 4. Because I'm going to throw Brett in there sooner or later.
Well, I knew that.
However,
but Randy Orton...
However...
You're doing this on purpose.
No. Again,
Randy freaking
you
Orton.
have to quantify how you feel he's the best.
No, I don't have to quantify Jack because I think that I'm Randy Orton. Now I know I'm being played. That's not cool, man. Randy Orton.
We're not playing you. We're just saying
Randy freaking Orton.
No, what Brian was saying was the way you have to determine it. If you're determined ring style, if you're doing crowd reaction,
Yeah.
you could do
if you're saying
merchandise sales, you say title reigns, then Shawn Michaels does not stack up.
Right.
With those with the title reigns.
Right.
Wow.
And
that's all I'm saying.
It's not Shawn's problem. It's not he didn't deserve more. He did deserve more. Shawn's, you could argue that Shawn put his body through more in the times, with the different ladder matches and the different things like that. And the fact he went to the point where, he just couldn't go no more. Randy Orton didn't do that.
Yeah, I think basically, Rob, is what we have here is, Shawn Michaels really hurt Stan deep down inside a few weeks ago.
We're not getting into that.
and I think, honestly, that Stan, he's forgiven. He's made peace with it.
Oh, you guys are so dirty.
He's letting the anger flow.
Dirty
and now
dogs.
He's back to I love Michaels again.
Oh, my
and
God.
he made the blanket statement, and he just didn't think.
I have never heard such blatant disregard
Just
for common sense.
Listen, okay, really. So look, Michaels was probably king of the world between when Hogan left the WWE and Michaels and Brett kind of took off and did their thing, and the Austin The Rock appeared. So that brief little 5 years or 5 years. Okay, I'm gonna give it to you.
That's just now you're just throwing it. You're just throwing it. Keep killing me, Brian. Keep killing me. You guys are the worst.
And least we forget. I'm taking my ball and going home.
Hey, everybody gets to go to Dean's house every now and again. It's a tough life we live, man.
Yeah.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Randy.
No, I'll
give
you
truth.
Randy Orton.
I'll give you top 3.
We did not say Randy Orton was the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots. We're saying if you are comparing Shawn Michaels to the greatest of all time, one of the categories, if you compare them, is title reigns. And unfortunately for the world, Randy Orton has more world title reigns than Shawn Michaels.
All right, here. I'll help you out with this. Stan. So he's one of them Triple Crown winners, right? Is Michaels a Triple Crown winner?
Yeah, he's a Triple Crown winner.
All right, so hold on a second.
He's the first Grand Slam.
Okay, all right, Grand Slam winner. All right, hold on. I'm gonna try and find all 9 of them, or I think it's 9, God. Maybe 10 right now.
You're killing.
I think it's 9.
You're doing this,
and we're just gonna use that.
Yourself.
We're just gonna use Grand Slam winners.
Disgusting abuse of conversation.
All right, hang on. Should be coming. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's currently 10. And I don't see Michaels on here. Where's he at?
You guys are disgusting.
Are you sure he's a Grand Slam?
Well, he has had the hard. He had the European, the world.
Maybe they called it something different back then. I don't know.
I can't believe you guys. You guys are just wrong. Horrible.
All right, so let's say Intercontinental Champions.
So Intercontinental, European, World,
I wouldn't
WWF,
even give you Intercontinental
World Tag
Champion.
Team. You would even give me the Intercontinental, really?
No,
okay,
I would.
Thanks.
He might be the best European champion of all time.
I
will give you that.
Whatever it is you're drinking or taking, you need to cut the dosage in like half because clearly you're taking too much.
Because I think Michael's probably defended that title over in Europe at least once. So I would say he might be the best of all time.
No, you're just trying too hard.
Now, to me, Shawn Michaels is, when they gave it to him, it kind of killed that title, in my opinion.
Yeah, because the title was meant for greatness, right?
No. I'm saying because the title was meant to be defended in Europe, right?
Yeah, because WWF was in Europe all the time at this point.
But then they gave it to, they put it on the British Bulldog. Like the European man, the man, and then it's like, boom. I remember his leg got caught in the ramp. Shawn Michaels did something, and then, it's like if they start defending the UK title in Toledo, and then they just start passing that thing around in the United States, is it going to mean the same as being the European champ? You know what I mean?
Hey, there's something he can aspire to. If he were to win the UK title, he would clearly be the greatest UK title holder of all time.
Oh my God.
Well, he does have an in with NXT. Maybe he can beat.
Pete Dunne.
Aleister Black.
Hey, listen.
Wow.
Supposedly, Michael is going to be with Triple H at the UK tournament later this year. They've already said Michael's will be there. I mean, what better time for him to get involved in that, get that title, and become the greatest UK champion of all time?
You guys are disgusting.
I'm
offended. I'm offended.
Top three, maybe. Maybe top three. In the modern era, maybe top three.
Yeah.
I said maybe. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I can make an argument for a lot of different people.
You ain't right, man.
Yes, we are.
Oh yeah, but honestly, though, Stan, you have to. All right, so you have to look at. He also had periods of time, right, where he was not performing, right?
Yeah.
The back injuries, the other injuries. He would leave for 8-9 months, come back. He'd be here for 2 or 3 months, and then he'd go. And especially towards the end there.
True.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's not his fault.
Yeah, it's not his fault. I'm not taking anything away from him. But there's a lot of different factors that you need to add into why he would not be. But again, probably top 6. Okay, now that I think
now
about
you're solid B plus. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking
B+.
about it, maybe top 10.
Jeez.
Okay.
Whatever.
I mean, Snitsky might have a better run.
Snitsky. It wasn't his. You're right. It wasn't his fault. I'm sorry.
What was his name? Meat. I think Meat probably had more title holders.
That guy has no
during
place
his
on this
brief
show.
career than
That
Michael
guy has
did.
no place on this show ever. He's a dirty, rotten thief, and he doesn't belong here.
Deuce and Domino. Are we forgetting Deuce and Domino?
Jesus, Deuce and Domino. I hate you, Brian. I hate you. And just you only.
No, I think he deserves a spot at the table if it's like the Last Supper size table.
The what?
Now,
the table in the Last Supper where there were like 13 people.
Oh, now we're at the top
Brian.
13. Okay.
Yeah, now we're at 13. Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah. What?
Would he be above or below Bob Backlund?
Oh,
hey.
What Backlund did during his time and Michael's?
You guys need to quit. You need to get off drugs. Drugs are bad, okay?
Man.
For our listening audience, I just want to point out that drugs are bad.
Who had a better title reign? Him or Andre the Giant?
What?
Oh, wait. He clearly does not stack up to Andre.
Oh, my God.
I mean,
all right, so
Andre
stop.
accomplished as the world champion.
Andre was world champion for like a minute.
And he did more in that hot minute.
Oh, God.
And Michael did.
Now you're just doing this on purpose. This is disgusting.
This for Michael's career almost reminds me of the bushwhacker with
no.
Bush. His run at the Royal Rumble. Okay.
Hey, that's
what
a masterful run at the Royal Rumble. Who are you to question the talents of a bushwhacker?
Oh, I'm not questioning it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm comparing. This
solid top 500.
Well, there you go. Now we're at top 500. Michael clearly falls into this.
You said it yourself, Stan.
Yep, you said it
finally.
yourself. Michael's is clearly in this discussion now.
Somewhere below Meat. And I can't believe he made me say his name.
And Snitsky. Ludwig Borga might have had a better run.
The Bastion Booger.
Oh, just get... Guys. Wow, Bastion Booger.
Hey. Yes, no.
Hey, I'm having a
Not
I'm
the
having a
Zodiac.
brain
No,
fart
not
right
Ed
now.
Leslie. No.
The Shockmaster had
Oh.
more of an impact in his short career than Michaels. Just the Shockmaster, okay? You know what I'm saying?
So
Just that trip and fall was more eventful than Michaels.
what's next?
When he made that fall, all I heard was toot toot.
I was like, man, if only Michaels tripped and fell with that
with that kind
grace,
of enthusiasm.
he would be a world champion forever.
I suppose
You know what I'm
you'd
saying?
say next Titus O'Neil in the slide seen around the world.
No, but since you brought it up, it must be on your mind. So
That
if
is
you
the
think
slide
slipping,
seen worldwide.
Oh God. Jeez.
no, again, all joking aside, because I don't want to be bombarded by, Michaels fans. How dare you say this? I'll give you top 4 for his period, his runs. I'll give you top. Let's go top 5 just to be safe. Now I'm not going to rank him in the top 5, but I'll put him in the top 5. Sorry, man.
I'm disgusted.
Sorry.
That's what happens when you open Pandora's box.
Yes, because if you're talking all time, in my opinion, there's nobody that comes close to Ric Flair. And Michaels doesn't touch. I don't think he touched Hulk Hogan either.
What?
No.
You stop. Just
No.
stop.
Did Michaels have a cartoon? Honestly, did Michaels generate enough to get a cartoon? Or to have MTV get involved? Or for NBC
Hey, Michaels
to
was on
create
Baywatch.
a show?
Michaels was on Baywatch.
Hulk
Hogan had his
Thunder
own
in Paradise.
Not Thunder in Paradise. Damn it. Damn you, Hulk Hogan. I'm going to get a cease and desist order now from Hogan. Thanks, guys.
Now again, though, you have to quantify what you're talking about.
That's crazy.
Pure entertainer, he earns points for being a pure entertainer. But there are other, these other guys get points for other things.
Maybe this is still
because you have to argue, Stan. You would have to have the argument of, would Shawn Michaels have accomplished what he did if Hogan hadn't been in the WWE to open the door?
What?
If Hogan had never left,
if Hogan hadn't been there to open the door and set the table,
right?
Would Shawn Michaels, like his character, would it have taken off in a place like that?
I don't know that they would have broken up the Rockers if Hogan had stayed.
Okay.
Like
so
during late '91 when they were starting to tease that, if Hogan had stayed, they wouldn't have really had any reason to create any more singles guys. At least not at that point, because they had the big guy talent. So I'll give you that. That makes sense.
All right, so let's play another game. So let's stack him up against some of the greats at the exact moment of time in their career as you're looking at Michaels in his career. Does Michaels beat Bruno Sammartino?
You mean like Michaels at his peak?
Yes, against Bruno at his peak. When Bruno sold out Madison Square Garden on a regular basis.
That's it. You know what? That is a tough call. Because Bruno, for what he did, selling out, carrying a company on his back, in a time where carrying a company on your back was definitely not as easy as it would have been in the 90s.
When there's no local television, there's no pay-per-views.
Right. That, you know what? That is a valid statement. I can't really debate that. That's a good one.
Okay, Hulk Hogan.
Again, dang. Hogan, for what he brought overall, and you can't really overlook that, because you can say what you want about his in-the-ring work, and then I think that's an easy argument to have, but when it comes to overall presence and overall impact, makes sense.
All right, so here comes a really big one.
You
had to know it's coming.
Don't do it.
Shawn Michaels, the showstopper, versus the 85, 86 Ric Flair.
Why do you always want to have that debate?
There is no debate.
Because
there
in the ring,
no debate.
At the time that I'm looking as far as Michaels at his peak, this is before he came back in 2002 and had another peak, I guess you could say. I'm thinking 1995. So 1995, Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair from 85 or 86. Gosh. I think in ring work, I think Michaels is still the better performer. But overall impact on the industry, I get what you're saying as far as the historical part of it. But as far as in ring, yeah, I still think Michaels is
Rob,
the better
did
performer.
you just have a heart attack? I mean, I felt my heart flutter.
I think you're still bitter because Flair retired because of Michaels.
No, I don't. That's if
I
that's
always
who
celebrated that.
beats.
By the way.
Yeah, that's cool. If that's who they picked to retire Flair, I'm okay with that. I got no problem with Michaels being the guy to do it.
Do you all not remember that Flair turned up on TNA a few months later?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Continued to wrestle.
Yeah, got beat the crap out of him. That was just a poor time for Flair. I choose to ignore that part for Flair. I give him a pass on that.
But again, look at who Michaels wrestled on a daily basis in '95.
I mean, he wrestled a ton of great people.
And then go compare it to Flair.
In 85 and 86?
Mm-hmm. And compare the fact that Flair didn't just wrestle Crockett in,
No, yeah, you're right. For who he was
the
wrestling.
Carolinas.
Right. Man, that's a close argument. That's actually a really good debate because the caliber of talent that Flair was turning back at that time was pretty crazy. Because you look at Greg Valentine, you look at Roddy Piper, you look at, all the different
Von
guys.
Erichs.
Yeah, the Von Erichs.
Dusty Rhodes, Magnum TA, Nikita Koloff.
A very young Barry Windham. Gosh, yeah. Not to mention all his tag team matches that he had when he was part of, wrestling against the Road Warriors and stuff with Arn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. That's a tough debate because at that time in his career and at that time in Michael's career, I don't know that you would have found anybody better than either one. But if choosing to rank who over which, I don't know, man. That is a tough call. Because both of them were turning away top talents, left and right, and both of them were selling out. They were the reason.
Wait, other than Bret Hart, who was Michael's turning away?
What? Jeff Jarrett, Shane Douglas, Razor Ramon. Just to name a few, and we all know that Scott Hall should have been world champion in multiple points.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. In multiple federations. Too.
Yeah, Mr. Perfect for part of that.
I like you back in AWA.
I think Scott Hall. They missed the boat on Scott Hall. Just each promotion he was in could have been the guy.
Well, I don't know if they missed the boat. I don't know if they missed the boat or just folded before they could pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he was in there as Scott Hall, but so long. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if he was in there as
Scott Hall.
No, I'm talking about down in Texas.
Well, he was Scott Hall for years.
Yeah, Magnum Scott Hall and all that stuff, yeah.
He tagged with Kurt Hennig for a few years.
Yeah, but what was the first one he was in with Austin and Chris Adams?
AWA.
Oh, he's talking about World Class.
Yeah, World Class.
Oh, yeah, World Class with Al Perez. And...
Yeah, because that's where I noticed him.
That's my first ever, actually, World Class was my first ever non-WWE wrestling show I watched. Because it came on ESPN.
Yeah. Listen, Stan, Michaels couldn't even beat Doug Roberts and
all right, that's it. Where's the hang up button? That's it. Roll credits. Roll credits. Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose. There we go. All right, that's it. I'm hanging up.
Think about it. If you want to argue the point,
we're done here.
Shawn Michaels versus Mr. Perfect.
Great feud, by the way. Intercontinental title feud that, honestly, that could have been main event anywhere. Thank you, Tony Schiavone, for that line, by the way. Yeah, Definitely.
Yeah. So, again, I don't think you can quantify him as the best of all time.
Man.
I mean, again, unless you say sports entertainer, and then I may give
okay. You know what? I see what you mean by that. I get what you mean as far as like that's why I had to concede when it comes to Hogan and Bruno overall impact industry wise. If you really put them up against that, Michaels didn't have to cross those boundaries or jump those hurdles. So yeah, you can't really debate that. That's true.
Yeah. So again, sports entertainer, I may give you the nod.
But you also got to look at this: Shawn Michaels as a wrestler and character. Like, his character that you fell in love with, Stan, is a WWE created character. Like,
what can I say?
Wasn't
Vince
the same
gets me.
guy. Well, he wasn't the same guy in Mid-South, Mid-Atlantic. Like,
right.
So, like, Flair and Bruno were the same. I mean, you could do the same argument for Hogan, about WWE. But then Hogan took his character to WCW.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could play the argument of how would have Shawn Michaels have fared if he was the third member of the clique that went? If he didn't stay back in WWE.
You mean if he had been NWO instead of Hogan?
Like if he went with them when they went over.
I don't think you'd have a WWE right now.
Yeah,
I will give that to him.
I think if Michaels had gone at that time, you would have had a hard time keeping the doors open. You got Brett and Taker was at that point still nursing multiple injuries, and we knew back then that Brett was on borrowed time. As far as what Vince wanted. So who did they have at that point? Let's see.
It's not what Vince wanted; it's what Vince could afford.
A fair point.
I'm not
buying
that.
Because you have that 20-year contract.
Yeah, but I'm not buying that.
You think it was just Vince just didn't want him anymore?
Yes. Vince was looking for something different. Because, again, Brett very much, to me, goes back to old school. There's not a lot of flash, not a lot of, pizzazz with Brett. Brett is a great old school wrestler. And he has some skills on the mic, but in that regard, he cannot match up to Michaels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're thinking to yourself, I now have to do something to change and move in a different direction that, we think might take us and keep us afloat. Because again, there's all types of rumors that Vince was worried. He thought he was going to shut the doors.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably a few months away from going out of business when WCW sold.
So again, as Vince, I have to come up with an idea that flips my roster completely, bring in all these fresh talent, propel some of these guys up higher. Now, who do I got to get rid of? I don't want old school wrestlers no more. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He did the exact opposite of what WCW was doing at the time.
Right.
WCW was bringing in all the big guys that WWE had already made names of. So what WWE had to do was start over.
Mm-hmm.
They had to take the ones they had, the Shawn Michaels, the so-and-sos, the Rocks,
And how do I get out of a contract? Oh, I just can't afford it.
Yeah.
I got to let you go. I can't afford it. And if you remember going back to Wrestling with Shadows, I mean, he's literally, if I remember right, while they were filming, he signed the contract. And then as the show moves on,
Yep,
right, as it moves on, I can't afford it. Well, you should have known when you wrote the contract whether you could afford it or not. You had to have known, or you would have never put $20 million on the table. You had to have known that you could have afforded it and then something happened along the way, which, if you remember, is when they were trying to change the tide, and they started to grab, it started to go back in the WWE's favor. Oh, well, I can't afford you now. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like they took 5 years to film this thing. If I remember right, it was only a matter of months. F that. It may have been, 6 months or less. And you're not gonna pay somebody back then $20 million if you don't have $20 million.
Yeah, he signs the deal that Vince would later break just before SummerSlam of '97. Starts to cement his heel turn, and then becomes champion for the 5th time. Then after SummerSlam, Michaels turns heel at the same time, taking the wind out of the sails of Bret's heel turn, and then Vince would later come to him and say, "Hey, unfortunately I can't afford your deal. If you want to go to WCW and negotiate, go right ahead." And all that happens in the span of like 2-3 months.
Right. And again, when Michaels turns heel, he says, "Well, Michaels is what I'm looking for. We can move in a different direction, different from WCW."
Mm-hmm.
Why would you then keep Bret if you want to go a completely different route? Because the fans were behind Bret.
Right. And they definitely were, especially leading up to that night in Montreal.
Yeah. So, again, he was one of those quasi, middle heel, good guy type guys that you made the mistake of giving him all this money.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get rid of him, especially if you don't want him to be in your main event any longer.
Right. Now, that's a valid point because, especially when you consider all the things happening at that time. And honestly, had Bret... that's the thing. Had they kept Bret, let's say they went the opposite direction, and they screwed Michaels out of the belt. Michaels probably would have cried foul, and he probably would have left. So Michaels goes to WCW. Bret stays, and maybe he has a feud with Austin that carries into Mania. That Mania could have been even bigger. When Austin finally becomes champion.
What? Oh, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Well, it's if you carry the argument all the way through. Michaels to WCW at that point could have very well been what turns the tide for WCW and keeps them at the top when the ratings war finally starts to struggle. Because now you don't have to worry about giving spoilers out. You've got another top-notch performer that can not only hang with the best of the best, but you've got Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, who's now the Clique is reformed. They're not going to let Michaels go down to the way of the way like that Bret did, and Rick Rude and Kurt Hennig and all those other guys that could have very well been at the top. So yeah, had had Shawn gone to WCW, WCW would still be in business, I think. But you want to put freaking Bastion Booger and Meat and all that in there. But no, you guys do you. That's fine.
Somebody's getting mad.
I'm not getting mad. I'm getting even.
No, you're
not. That's not even. Yeah, that's not.
Shut up.
Literally for like the last 45 minutes, the one point you thought you were going to make and, skip out on the whole program, we turned it into 45 minutes of bashing Shawn Michaels. Aha! It's a pastime of ours.
Well, I will say that it's pretty. I thought that like the last 45 minutes that we've actually been over is actually part of the best discussion we've had all night.
Well, and you can thank me for that. You're welcome.
No,
well, sometimes
I can thank Rob and myself for.
oh yeah,
calling you on the carpet.
Yeah, calling you on the carpet. Now again though, for anybody that may be listening, I'm not saying Michaels doesn't belong in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying before you make a blanket statement, you need to quantify your statement. So, again, sports entertainer, best of all times. In-ring performer.
Really? You'd put him over The Rock as sports entertainment?
Yeah, sports entertainer. Yeah.
Suck it, Dwayne.
But
Johnson.
again, wrestler, got a long way to go. Champion, got a long way to go. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
That's all right.
Money
It's STRCP21 on Twitter for Brian. That's where you catch him with all your hate mail.
The guy that's made the most money got a long way to go.
That's true.
Probably put the most asses in the seats. Long way to go.
What?
Again, Austin is
overall,
selling $1 billion
a
month in T-shirts.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
The
because
Rock,
when you put those stats up there, how do you argue that? I don't think anybody, even the most diehard, could say, "Oh well, technically, no, you can't. You can't." Austin's T-shirts alone. Yeah, that's a fair point.
Title reigns. You have to quantify.
Oh, yeah. That's where you put Randy Orton in the discussion. Yeah, I remember that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Once you had 12 or 13.
Shut up. I mean, I guess if I was, doing special favors for Triple H in the back, I could, have 12 reigns too.
Hey, listen, stop it. You don't.
Shawn Michaels didn't do enough, apparently.
Hey. Well, that's because he had pride and integrity.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? For all the stories?
Well, of course. Yeah, of course. Clearly. You guys are mistaken and Michaels is right. Clearly.
All the stories. Right.
What stories? There ain't no stories.
Okay. All the
Fiction.
scandalous stories about Michaels and his pool.
Fiction.
Yeah.
Fiction.
All right, I got you. All right, so for that, he's not even number one in anything.
Oh, shut up.
He's fallen. He's like the dude in the background of the Last Supper holding the tray.
Can I get you some more water, Jesus? Can I help you?
Yeah, he just barely makes,
Try the breadsticks.
He now
They're
just handed Santina the sock.
Yeah.
Oh, not the Cobra.
All right, and
suck.
it's like 11:40.
Yeah, right. We've carried this too far. Fans are now rioting in the streets. We've got to bring it together. Well, Hey, thanks to everybody for joining us in this extended edition of Corner to Corner. Apologies for being a little off schedule, but we're glad to have been able to join you. You can follow Brian on Twitter at STRCP21 for all your hate mail about the Shawn Michaels debate. Rob, where do they catch up with you on social media, sir?
At Rob Hefner at C2C on the Twitter, Rob Hefner on Facebook, RDHUWP on the Instagram.
And I can be found on Twitter at Stan from Krypton.
Nobody cares.
Hey, shut up. Everyone cares. Everyone cares. All right, some people care. Anyways, I almost gave Brian's again. Damn it.
You can find Stan at Stan from the booth at IHOP on Twitter.
Hey, I like IHOP, and IHOP likes Stan.
You can find Stan at hashtag Michael's Not So Great.
Hey, if that becomes a thing, you're in so much trouble.
You can find Stan on his website, subparmichaels.com.
Oh, wow, subpar, damn. The show can be found at C2C Radio Show on Twitter, Corner to Corner Show on Facebook, Corner to Corner on Instagram, and that is going to do it for us this week.
And I jest. Michael's is pretty damn good.
It's all right.
But still, the guy holding the drinks at the Last Supper good.
Try the breadsticks, Judas. These are really good.
I didn't call him Judas. You called him Judas.
That's not what I meant.
Maybe if he hadn't thrown Janetti through the window, he wouldn't be known as Judas right now.
Janetti right now is saying, "Finally, justice is served." Thanks again for listening.
I like them corner to corner folks.
Next week we'll be back on BeyondRingside.com, but until then, have a great one, and we'll see you next time. Janetti has justice. Hashtag Janetti gets justice.
Hashtag Janetti has justice. Vindication for what?